Hi there, it's Lou again, aka Chinoy. Okay, so today is Sunday and I'm here at the office because I took everything with me because this is the current update right now in Singapore. Prime Minister Lee announced just this Friday, April 3, that Singapore will be on circuit breaker. It's not a lockdown, it's circuit breaker, which means that he will close all establishments except the essential ones. Essential ones like the wet market, for the food, for the doctors, for the hairdressers, stuff like that. There's a lot of essential listing, and our HR emailed us that we need to get everything because totally here in Singapore, if you can work from home, you should be working from home. So finally, I can start working from home because I'm working at the admin side, so I do a lot of paperwork like that. So I bring along all my paperwork and just do one final round of the office just to make sure everything is okay. And then our last day I'm supposed to be working here in the office is on April 6th, Monday, which I'll just ask my colleague to do it because we need to take turns, you see. So I work from home and then she's going to be here and then that's it. So this one, it will take about 1 month. So our office will be closed and then we'll just route our incoming calls to my mobile phone number, which we're going to do it only tomorrow because it so happened it already announced, like I think he had an announcement on Friday 4 p.m. So that time, because it was so last minute that he wanted to announce something, of course it went panic buying again here in Singapore. So I went out of the office, I believe past 4 p.m. and I still got two kids who are on formula milk. So I went to the at Paya Lebar Square, and oh my gosh, everything got a few queue already there, from the escalator, from the supermarket, a giant supermarket, because everybody should maintain safe social distancing. The last time, because almost every week, almost every few days, there's a lot of changes here in Singapore. Like, for example, when you came from another country, immigration will give you immediately a 14 days SHN, meaning stay home notice. So you should only be at home. You cannot go out, as in you cannot even buy your groceries whatsoever. So you just need somebody, to give you, you just need to hire the delivery service. And then what are the changes? Last week they tried the HBL, meaning home-based learning for all students. So my primary student did it on a Wednesday. That was last week, okay, their first time to do it. Then now moving forward, I believe starting April 7 to May 4, there's no childcare in primary school, secondary, I believe even in college as well. As in, no one should be outside because our numbers right now in Singapore is always getting higher and higher. And then we got a lot of important cases. Of course, these are all returning citizens from other countries who wants to come back to Singapore because in that foreign country it's already locked down. However, some of them got, infected while they were there. So right now they're in hospitals or in hotels doing quarantine. They're being cured, or if you're not sick, as long as you came from another country to come back to Singapore, you will be given a stay-home notice. You will be quarantined for 14 days. So some of them, like for example, people who are from the military or foreign students, Singapore students who went to UK, then they come back here in Singapore. The Singapore government has sponsored them, meaning they don't need to go back to their home. Some of them, the government gave them like hotels or hospitals or those small hotels, like example the resort hotel in Pasuri, so that they can just be quarantined and they need to be checked, and I believe they can the government will help them on their foods, their necessity, and then finally they can go back home to their loved ones. So those are the changes. But right now, yes, they want, as in totally nobody is outside, because so that we can, flatten the curve. And, it's so hard recently because, just to let you know, here in Singapore, they're very, very transparent, which I like it. And our healthcare system here is very, very good, top notch. If you ask me if ever I get sick, I'm so happy that I'm in Singapore who's going to take care of me, because there's no questions asked. And then right now, because I'm filming this from my cell phone, I got now a note, because in WhatsApp, you can subscribe from the gov.sg, and almost every day, not almost every day they update you how many people got COVID cases, how many people got discharged or in ICU and whatsoever. So I noticed recently, I think in the last 1 or 2 weeks, almost every day here in Singapore, we have additional 50 to 70 cases. That is per day. So right now, we are more than 1,000 cases already. And then, although of course the people who are getting discharged almost every day, we have like a few, like probably 5 to 10 to 15 per day. But the people who are getting infected daily, it's kind of a lot. So it's so hard to flatten the curve. And then there's a lot of local transmission already. There's a lot of, they call it clusters, from the bridal shop, from the dormitory, from the Singapore's Singpost Center, and it's just everywhere. So you see, the government is really, really trying their best to do contact tracing, interviewing them. Where have you been in the last 14 days? So there's a lot here that in establishment, they're going to, take your temperature. And then in restaurants, in food courts, they take out all the chairs already. Like for example, it's a 4-seater, it becomes a 2-seater already. Then there's a lot of X mark, meaning you cannot sit there, so that they make sure it's like 1 meter apart. And of course, they really highly recommend don't eat there, just take away. So at least right now, because they're doing it starting on April 7, Tuesday, I'm pretty sure that will be very very few people who will be outside in the streets, just the essential people only, like the healthcare workers, like that. But that's why, because now it's a Sunday, right? They announced that on a Friday. So a lot of Singaporeans, and like me, did my sort of panic buying, my weekly groceries that Friday. And then Saturday I rested. Then today, Sunday, I went out because, of course, like what I said, I work in an admin, so I bought some ink cartridges for my printer, because sometimes we still do old school. We have several contracts that needs wet ink signature, so I need to physically print it and go to my manager's house so that he can sign, and we need to, FedEx to DHL, courier it to another country. So I just need to be prepared. So like those Challenger, those courts, they're open because they're considered essential. And my gosh, my friend is from court. She said the what they call this, the revenues is so high. Almost everybody is buying a laptop, a monitor, ink cartridges, everything. Like for example, one of my colleague, I just saw it now. He said he got his monitor back because he's a programmer, you see. So yes, that one is still open. But a while ago, I went to Cotton On to buy some clothes for my kid, because my kid, he's already tight on his current clothes. So Cotton On said that they will be physically closed by April 7, Tuesday. However, I can still buy online, and then just only the restaurants will be open. So a lot of Singaporeans and people like us here in Singapore here doing last minute, sort of shopping. Like I bought medicines already like that, because even though they will be open during the circuit breaker, as much as possible, I don't want to go out as well, right? Because at my place, I don't have a nearby pharmacy, you see. I really need to, take a bus and, go by that compared to my place. But at least all the market places and the food courts are still open. We just need to be very, very careful, because nowadays it's really no joke. You see here in Singapore, they even impose a very, very big fine. Everybody's saying that Singapore is a very fine country, right? No spitting, no chewing gum, no anything at all, which is really true. That's why recently they impose, for example, you were warned that, you should be 1 meter apart, right? Of course, this one it does. This one it will not be applicable if you're a family, because as we're a family of 6, right? Of course, we can be all together, right? And then they impose like, okay, if you got warm by the social, this they have people who are roaming around and warning people, just reminding them, oh, okay, can you be 1 meter apart like this? And you cannot really meet up with friends at all. The last time they had said, okay, you need to be maximum 10 people only, but right now no, because yeah, like what I said, we have a lot of cases already, and the cases it's a lot per day. It's so hard to flatten the curve. And then they always remind us that please, for the elderly, because they are more susceptible for this virus, right? To help them go to the market, do their errands. Don't let them go out, as in. Because right now, if I'm not mistaken, we have a 6 death already in Singapore, and they are all old people who has already their sickness, like their diabetes, cancer, whatsoever. They're all, have lived, a good life, and rest in peace for everybody. And then that's why we're just taking care of everybody here in Singapore as well. We have a lot of old people, especially at my neighborhood. We have a lot of old people. And then they had recently also given us 4 masks per household. And then in after a few weeks, Temasek Foundation in Singapore, they gave us and what do you call this, a hand sanitizer. They said it's not alcohol, because it's not alcohol based, it's a water based. I don't know how can it be clean, how can it clean our hands, our surfaces, but they said they can. So I believe they created that, and they call it hashtag BYOB, meaning bring your own bottle. So I went to any Capitaland Mall, and then they put 500 ml for free for everybody. So it's a pamphlet that they send out to the mailboxes for all houses here in Singapore, so that you can just get that pamphlet and go to what do you call this, nearby Capitaland Mall, which means it's really, really great, because the last time we have the free 4 face masks, 4 surgical masks per household. That one is only applicable if you show your IC. And just to let you know, guys, for Singaporeans and permanent residents, all our addresses is at the back of the IC, meaning identification card. But all my friends who are foreigners on S-Pass, Employment Pass, who are all renting the houses, and then as long as you rent a house, as long as you rent a house and you're on S-Pass, Employment Pass, Work Permit, the address that is written on the back of your IC is your employer's address. That's why I don't think so that they are able to get the surgical mask, because my friend also asked, how can I get it, Lou? I'm just renting. I'm renting the whole unit or what with my friends. So I don't think so he managed to get it. And then what are the changes? And then recently, that Friday announcement, Mr. PM Lee said already that we need to wear face masks all the time when we go out, because the last time they announced that you only wear face masks if you are sick. That's it. Because they said there is no need to wear face mask if you are totally okay. But I believe they found out that, not everybody is responsible, right? When you sneeze, when you cough, especially if you sneeze, you cannot control a sneeze, right? So that's why they decided, and of course some are sort of irresponsible because, yeah, this sickness is invincible. We cannot see this, and it's really true. It's there's a asymptomatic. It's like what do you call this? I wouldn't know if I'm a carrier. Like today, I am healthy, but the symptoms, it will only appear like after a few days. Like I'm going to have fever, cough, colds, flu, loss of taste, and then that's the only time I can go to a doctor, right? Because of course I am well right now. Why would I go to a doctor? Then you are already positive. And then of course I wouldn't even know the time that I am well. Who am I? Who I met, right? That's why me, I'm so grateful that I really, really use a personal diary for many, many years. So I put everything there, all my thoughts, what I have done, because like right now, of course, all over the world is already having their own issues and it's already a pandemic. And I just want to be responsible, especially me. I have kids, right? And then even though you are single, if you don't have kids or what, you go home to your housemate and what, you meet a lot of people. You don't want them to get it as well and vice versa. So let's be responsible. So a while ago, I went to Plaza Singapura to do last minute stuff like to buy the ink and what. And then almost everybody is on mask, and then a few people only is at the mall and at the street because I took a cab. Then yeah, everybody's responsible. I believe everybody's doing their last minute to-do list before we start the circuit breaker this April 7 Tuesday. And that's why I'm here in the office just doing one last check. And of course, Monday, tomorrow, I need to email all my suppliers, those monthly suppliers that, they don't need to come, like for example, my cleaners, like my plant maintenance, so that, to save money for the company. And of course, with the things going on right now, I have several people who lost their job or in indefinite unpaid leave. And for my company, well, they announced that we will have a 12% salary reduction. So yeah, that's kind of big. And for upper management, it's 20% salary reduction. So that one, it will start on April onwards. And it says it's a temporary one. I do hope so. Of course, this pandemic is temporary as well, but we need to help each other. We need to be responsible. We need to flatten the curve so that we can get our lives back. And of course, that's why I told my husband that I hope, good thing his company is doing great, business as usual. Of course, ours is business as usual. It's just that, isn't it so sad that I will have less than 12% of my salary this coming this coming April onwards. But, if I come to think of it, at least I am still so lucky and still so blessed that I still got a job. I still got a salary, because this is really not the right time to look for a job, to get fired, to lose a job, because yeah, how can you pay the bills, right? The monthly bills, the rent, the electricity, the water, everything still continues, right? Some of my friends in the restaurant business, like for example in Coma, I believe this is private dining in Marina Bay Sands, they're going to be closed for 1 month. There's a lot of people are going to be closed for 1 month, and the employers already said that don't worry, we're going to give you a salary. But you see, I'm thinking like be realistic, like until when, right? Because we wouldn't even know until when this pandemic is. And of course, right now, we already sort of close our borders to any tourists. So right now, the only people who can come to Singapore are, returning citizens or returning PRs or whatsoever, but we cannot go out of Singapore already. We just need to do our job and, we just need to do our job. It's like I'm so speechless. I don't know. Sometimes it makes me think that is it late already? But I think it's better late than never, because the last time they said we need to work from home. But I find it funny, because how can I work from home if my kids still go full day childcare and primary school? But at least I'm, so happy to hear that everything should be closed. In the childcare, the only time they'll be open, and I believe got student care as well, is for special special requests. Like, for example, the parents are really in the healthcare service, then they don't have a nanny or a helper to help them out. Then the child care is open. You just need to, it's limited slots, then you just need to apply for it. And I do believe the government is helping out everybody. Like, for example, I have some of my colleagues here who got stay-home notice because they went overseas, then they come back. I believe we just need to apply that as an employer, then we can get $100 per day per employer who got a stay-home notice. And then what else? I do believe the government is helping out all the malls, the rentals, so that they can give it to the landlord, and then the landlord needs to give it to the tenants. Because at the end of the day, even though we are working from home, and some doesn't even work because they're in the tourism industry, retail, or what, they are not in the essential industry. Of course, the monthly bills is still on, right? So this is the help that the government is extending to everybody. So I think that's about it. That's the current situation here in Singapore, and I'm going home already. I already got, I do believe, all my stuff. And then what else? I will just go to my current CC. CC is a community center at my neighborhood, because they're going to give a free reusable mask, probably 3 or 4. So for the household. And then I think that's about it. So for you guys all over the world, keep safe and God bless us all. We can do it. If Singapore can do it, a lot of the countries can do it. My family members, even in the Philippines, they have been quarantined for more than 14 days, as in total lockdown in the Philippines, and then they have a permit. The only people who can go out to buy groceries, to buy essential, is one person, and that one person needs to bring the permit, and there is timing. So of course, when you go there, it's kind of course, Philippines is a lot of people. My family is from Manila, so when you go there, it's kind of a long queue, they told me, but because of the safe distancing, and they need to check, from the supermarket that, everybody is not crowding or what. But we just need to deal with it. I do believe we can do it. And just be healthy always. Drink your vitamin C always. And even though you only got a bit of a cough or itchy throat or what, please go to your doctor immediately, so that you will be checked immediately. And always wear your face mask, even though you're well, because you are protecting the other person, and then I am protecting myself as well. My saliva will be inside my mask when I talk, when I sneeze, when I cough. Everything is on the mask. And then yeah, just be responsible as well if you want to reuse it, because I'm saving my surgical mask. If I use it, of course, sometimes when I do my errands, that's only 1 or 2 hours, or sometimes 3 hours, right? What I do is that when I go home, I spray with alcohol, and then I air dry it. Then that's the only time I put it back into a Ziploc, then I can reuse it. Probably I reuse it, I don't know, 3 to 4 days, like that. So at least the government is giving us reusable masks. At least I can wash that probably I don't know if you can put hot water because you can really kill the germs when there's hot water. And I believe laundry detergent is already enough because here in Singapore, we cannot, sun dry. I don't sun dry my clothes outside my window, you see, not unlike other people who put their clothes outside the bamboo pole. Ours is indoor drying. So it's really, really good if you really sun dry it, so to kill the germs. Not unlike in the Philippines, we can just put it in our garage or in the garden. But yeah, and then what else to do? And then for me and my husband, because me and my husband are still working, but starting on Monday, I'll be working from home. I believe so, my husband. But the time that we were still working, oh my gosh, we really spray alcohol to all our body and our hands. When I come in from the door, of course, I take out my shoes and then I put it on my shoe box. But sorry, I put alcohol first for everything. We have a spray alcohol that we bought it from the Philippines. My friend bought it for us. And then before the kids come to us, so that, it's really, really, really safe. And then we take out all the clothes and then we take a shower, because sometimes you'll never know it's going to be in the hair. Like right now, I have long hair, right? When I do alcohol, like for example this one, right, I spray it and then do this and then I do that, you see. But I do have a sprayer at home. And then for example, this is my cell phone, okay, because my cell phone right now is filming. You can you can sanitize your cell phone. For example, you just spray and then you just do this. Yeah, do not spray directly, just do this and then, yeah, just let it dry. So I think that's about it. Stay safe, wear your mask, always have alcohol or hand sanitizer, and we can all make it. So yeah, that's the current update now in Singapore. And yes, stay safe guys, and I see you again on my next video. Bye bye.